Hello and welcome to SofaSiStars. I'm Terry and I'll be hosting you through a series of conversations with my sisters on the sofa. I have Marianne and Fontanna.
Lovely to meet you.
Hi.
Thank you for coming, ladies. And we'll be talking about today the power of sisterhood and turning pain into power. That's a juicy one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. Very exciting topic and so much within it.
It is. What does it speak to you? When I say that, what does that speak to you, Marianne?
Oh, well, I'm really passionate about sisterhood.
Yeah.
From the fierceness of our approach to everything in our life to the progressiveness of our creativity and thought.
Lovely.
I think all of that is embodied in the phrase girl power.
Yes.
But I think much larger than that is the fact that we are the heartbeat of our community,
That's right.
our networks, our families.
Yes.
I think to a large extent, as sisters, we're blessed in so many ways because we are each other's support mechanism.
Yes.
But I think as we juggle so many hats in our day, we often don't take the time to actually reflect and embrace the power that we embody in our womanhood.
Yes.
We also need to, as sisters, support each other
That's
to also
right.
take a heartbeat, to just say, I appreciate and embrace my inner strength, my creativity and use of language and spoken word, our musical talent, because as women, we're so abundantly gifted in so many different ways.
That's right. Do you agree?
We are, 100%, yeah, resonate with everything.
That's why they say women are complex, because, there's no two the same, isn't
Well,
there?
no, they aren't. But I think leading on from those gifts that we share as women, we also empower each other in a lot of different ways.
That's right, yeah.
Importantly, we bring together our collective consciousness to give each other strength to carry on to the
That's
next
right,
challenge.
that's right.
And through pulling together our many talents, we're able to then reap a very abundant harvest for the benefit of our families, our community,
That's right.
and the greater world. And I can go into a few examples around that from a personal perspective, but Fontanna,
Yeah,
perhaps
for you. What
you'd
is
like
Yeah, I
to share
resonate with the
from?
same. I
said a
mean,
lot, didn't it? That
yeah, but
resonates.
it's resonating
It is.
because, especially when you talk about creative gifts, so many of us from very young, even below 10, have creative gifts.
Yes.
And they're, for whatever reason, not nourished, maybe because of modern day society and what they encourage more
Yes.
with mainstream education.
Yes.
But actually, what I've found personally and professionally working with people is when we, especially as women, allow those parts of us to be really shown and
Yes.
come forth and shine, that it makes us the happiest.
Doesn't it just?
So it's like all of these norms that we've been fed are actually seem very unreal when you experience your
Yes.
gifts.
Yes.
It's like, okay, all I've been told is not as true as I thought it was.
Exactly.
You know?
So I was just going to bring that up because the dichotomy is when we're told to not feel pain. It's like pain is like, oh, why would you want to feel pain? So we shy away from pain. And do you find that in our deepest hurts, that through our deepest hurts, where our greatest ministry is found?
Well, to a very
Do you
large
find that?
to a very large extent, but the beauty of sisterhood is that as we face the challenges, we go to our best friend, our mother, our auntie, someone within the family that we trust, and they support us through it. They see us crying through our pain and smiling through it the other end because we know we're not alone.
That's right.
As an African woman, I know that I come into a room alone, but I'm surrounded by 10,000 ancestors who've
Lovely.
paved the way forward for me, and so I know that I'm safe.
Lovely.
And so for me, in terms of the work that I do as an entrepreneur or
Yes.
also as a volunteer,
Yes.
it's to pay forward that kindness given to me because
Yes.
it's only by me doing it for other women
Yes.
and my community that I can really help solve some of that pain other women are feeling.
That's right, because we're interconnected. So you're talking about that interconnected threads all
Yes.
working together.
Yes.
Probably coming from different angles, but wanting the same.
Yeah, absolutely. But then there's a new dimension now because the point you made about the pain, our creative talent not necessarily always being appreciated. We're at a dawn of a new world with
Love
the Me
it.
Too campaign.
Yes.
Time is up
Yes.
and press forward for
Yes.
progress because the world consciousness is very much on what's happening
That's
to
right,
us
that's
and
right.
our voice can be heard.
That's right.
So I think we need to harness this opportunity in the sisterhood to ensure that we've always known it,
Yes.
but we are we are the architects of our destiny.
That's right.
And we need to come together as collective consciousness to ensure that we're able to positively harness all the opportunities around us, ensure that we cannot be ignored, but importantly, pull together everything so that we have economic empowerment.
That's right.
Because in that way, we can't be taken for granted.
Yes.
And we can really start to negotiate much more empowering relationships and contracts with the mainstream institutions.
That's right.
Whether it's financial institutions, economic, the judiciary, politicians, or the media, we need to influence that.
Yes.
And so we can then challenge when unconscious bias happens. For example, that horrendous recent case over Christmas when the Dorchester Hotel had the sexist gala, women-only gala night. We can challenge that, but not just as keyboard warriors. We need to be much more strategic and ensure that we're not just looking at the Equalities Act. We come together and we say that our collective money makes a difference, and this should not happen. We need to invest in each other so that our collective pound can then make people think they could lose business by the decisions that they're making that affect our lives. Because as women, we do control a lot of the revenues in our households.
We were just talking about body image earlier, and I was speaking to a fashion writer, and she clearly explains that, you know, they're quite prehistoric. Might be some old men at the top that target women, you know, when it comes to, you know, showing us what's in and what's out, what we need to look like, what we need to act like to be beautiful or to be, you know, body beautiful or whatever it is. But these people are, you know, they're influencing our choices, manipulating, should I say, manipulating our choices. So, as I said, it's nice that this movement of empowerment has come about because we can learn from each other, and that I think is really good for our soul and the souls of our children. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's necessary for our soul. It's essential for our soul. I'd even go as far as to say for the survival of us as souls. It's really paramount that we start using new ways of turning our pain into power.
That's right.
Especially with what we're talking about with our creativity. Because if you was asking about how our own experiences are, this is what I really realised, that with pain, instead of going down this sort of decades that we've been going down of using coping mechanisms and using distractions and using
to avoid the pain,
avoidance strategies.
What's that stigma though about, you know, telling someone you're suffering? You can't explain it because you look down upon you looked as weak because you're weak to show that you have feelings and you're hurting. So it's that stigma that's in society that stops a lot of people from sharing. Let's cut to the street and see what our correspondent's been doing this week. She's been out there with the public. Miss MG, what's up? I can't hear you.
So I'm here on the streets in Wood Green, and I was walking down and I saw Pretty in Pink. I've only gone purple today. So, sisterhood. What does sisterhood mean to you?
It means, for me, it's like getting together with your friends, chillaxing, having a bottle of Prosecco, nice crisp white wine, and some
nibbles.
Yeah, that too. And then just gossiping about men and trying to put right to work.
So what's your sisterhood about?
I don't gossip about the men.
Yeah.
No. I'm not interested.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not interested in the women either. But you are beautiful. No, again, just getting together with the ladies and just talking politics.
Yeah.
Or not that, actually. I have a rule: sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Oh, let's go.
Politics and religion is not a good starter.
Not a good starter. So, womanhood. Do you find sometimes that women do not come together when they're trying to climb the ladder of success? Especially as women of colour.
Yeah, if you break it down like that, there is some that tend to not be so supportive as we can be, and it's kind of sad. We're all in this struggle together, and it's a good idea if we do support each other and say, well done, do you want any help, support you, and things like that. And I think maybe as a race, maybe we're not as supportive as we can be.
Yeah.
And there is some successful black women out there, but some people are always trying to pull them back down.
Yeah. What do you think, baby girl?
I'll support any woman. I don't care.
You
I don't care what colour, creed or religion, whatever. Yeah. It is a struggle for women, as you say, where we are climbing up the ladder, crawling up the ladder.
Yeah. And do you find sometimes, like, in the workplace, I said, like, in the workplace where women are trying to get up that ladder of success, that they're probably a bit more vicious?
There is a lot of backstabbing, but like we were saying earlier, I think that is just women in general.
Well, here we go. This is the sisters are doing it for themselves.
Yes, we are.
Standing on their own. It's back to the studio.
So people are created to have feelings, you know, and what happens when we hold these feelings in? If we can't find anyone to talk to, doesn't it make an impression on our subconscious? Isn't that dangerous? Isn't that causing us more trouble to be in denial about what we feel?
It really depends. I mean, if I could just share my personal experience with you, but in a shortened form. I was happily married for a number of years, and everything was going very well according to plan. But in the marriage, when I started to articulate my sense of self, my partner started to get quite threatened by it, and domestic violence was very much a natural, daily occurrence in our marriage. At one time when I was quite badly attacked, I had a fractured rib, other injuries. I was able to flee when he left the house. And I had been doing some background work beforehand to make sure I could go to a safe space. When I got to the refuge with my daughter, I was able to just breathe for a moment, and that's when, for the first time in 5 years, I let go and I had a nervous breakdown because I just felt someone else could have her for a minute, my sisters could come and be with her. So I don't actually see it as a stigma, I don't see it as a weakness, because in the sisterhood, I was able to say to my sister and the refuge, please, I just need some help now. They nursed me, and through the whole power of sisterhood and love and support and kindness, because with sisters, it's like God gently touches your heart, and he says, I will look after you, and we come together as the catalyst for the change that we want to see.
Yes.
Now, I got so much support and kindness from my sisters, but I mentor a lot of other women. I'm part of a refuge and a domestic violence network, and we mentor each other to have the confidence and the courage to leave when they can.
Yes.
But importantly, when you've made that transition, to also support each other so that the woman has the confidence and the courage to take on other challenges in other parts of her life.
Yes.
It's very important to break that cycle early, and I did it for my daughter because I didn't want her to grow up believing this was the way families were.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the mentoring relationship that we have with sisters, because it is based on trust and a relationship where you can really understand each other's way of life and where they're coming from.
That's right.
There's also the importance of information, accurate information. Applied information is the most important thing, because it means that your information is king.
Yes.
You can then really ensure that you succeed and are empowered in the 24/7 economy.
Yes.
Leading on from that is how do you then live a life of passion and intent every single day, because having escaped near death, I now make sure that every day counts in small acts of kindness to other people, but also ensuring that I'm living my passion. And Martin Luther King didn't have a dream. His dream had him. So it's important for you to actually dig deep and find what makes you really happy, what makes you just want to get up every day and do the things that you do. And importantly, take that leap of faith so that you actually go out and do it. Because I think the saddest thing in life is shoulda, woulda, coulda. Because you die that death of 1,000 cuts, thinking if only I had done whatever it was. So take that leap of faith, because God will give the wings so that you get a safe landing.
Love it. That's brilliant. Yep, that's a brilliant way to look at it. Fontanna, is there anything you want to add? Anything you can add?
Yeah, totally. I mean, just touching on what you said about the information era, we're inundated with information. You know, there's so many awesome organisations that have very well informed services, as you said, mentoring there. And there's so much available for us now. I think to even go a step further in the way that we're evolving, it's now becoming so inundated that I think we can get to a level of borderline confusion, because there is so much, there's a lot of different opinions as well on specifically how to deal with pain.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people who are struggling with even domestic violence or, you know, depression, any kind of mental illnesses.
Just living with pain.
Yeah, it's living with pain, right? And we tend to go down the mainstream way of NHS, etc. And you're waiting on waiting lists. And the reason why I believe I have very unique views on these areas is because it's now the old way of dealing with pain.
Yes.
Because there's so many ways. The way I view pain is we have mental pain and we have emotional pain.
Yes.
But we also have a spiritual pain.
Yes.
And it's being disconnected from our source, from our connection, which we now get through ways that are not, I think they're beginning to, but they're not really advocated through NHS because NHS deal with effects. They don't deal with cause.
Yes.
What is the cause? How did we become disconnected
This is
from
the
ourselves
thing.
anyway?
Yes.
And how do we become reconnected?
Yes.
And this is why when I talk about information, I'm talking about more enlightenment than just books.
Yes.
You know, and we get information or enlightenment specifically through our own relationship. So it's not always looking outside, you know?
Exactly.
Like this constant search
Exactly.
for answers in books or
Yes.
in people and mentoring when we can get it through meditation.
Sure.
We can get it through prayer.
Love it.
And we can get it through nature.
So it does go back to you, and it goes back to me, and it goes back to you, because even if you didn't have your sisters there, you'd have to find that strength within yourself.
Yes.
You would have to get in touch and make that connection.
Yes.
You know, and then you would find if there are any areas that you need to love, because it does boil down to self-love. I know that's the biggest healer for me. You know, like any medicine will just probably help out, but self-love, that's where you're always going to find the root, you know, to get to the root of the problems. And when you start there, I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah. Can I add something on that?
Okay, you can add something because we're just about to wrap up. I had your last little notes. I'm just going to ask you for your last little word on that. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, for me as a woman, and I really agree with what you just talked about, meditation and looking deeper within, I think as women, we express our love through actions. And if you have a positive outlook to life, you love the world.
Yes.
If you have a positive tongue, the world loves you. So it's incumbent on women to really harness that so that we're giving the best of ourselves at every opportunity.
Our responsibility.
Yes, it is
We've
our
got to take
responsibility. But then it's also some of the challenge that we face is not celebrating each other enough and always comparing, thinking someone has what you don't have, and the grass is not always greener. So it's about celebrating what you have, but also thinking, just living in faith, hope, love and gratitude, because you then harness everything around your life.
That you need, yes. You won't lack. It's so true. Lovely. Sadly, we've come to the end of our show. Thank you for expressing all those beautiful gems.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you to you, Fontanna.
Thank you.
You've been a fantastic audience. I do hope you come back and join us sometime for more chats on my sofa. I just want to thank my two lovely guests, Fontanna and Marianne.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big
Very delighted
thank
to
you.
be here. Thank you.
Big thank you for you watching. Take care and keep it shine.
Thank you very much.